For the next part of our perspective lesson, we're going to be thinking about the tops of the letters and kind of the sides of the letters. You're going to need a pencil, you're going to need a straight edge, and also going to need something to color with, whether that is crayons, colored pencils, or markers, whatever you have at home. Alright, so when you're going to do the top perspective from your tops of your letters, you have to think about a few things. First, you need to think about points of intersection. Points of intersection would be wherever two lines kind of meet and the line changes direction. Like right there on the letter B, right here on the letter R, or here and here on the A. You also need to think about the widest parts of the curve. So if I'm looking at the widest part of this curve right here, I'm going to say my widest point is right there, and on the R, my widest point is right there. So from these points that you've now thought of, I'm going to go ahead and mark the rest of mine out. Any place where two lines meet Now that I have those all marked, I need to think about these three rules right here. If I can draw a line connecting that point all the way to the vanishing point, draw it. I'm going to show you an example of that here. So on my E, when I line up my ruler with that top point that I just drew and connect it with the vanishing point, I can draw this line all the way to the vanishing point without running into anything. That's what makes the perspective from the sides of your letters. So that follows rule 1. If it can draw all the way to the vanishing point, draw it. Rule 2. If you start to draw the line and you hit another letter, just stop. You don't have to continue out the other side of the letter. You just draw the line between the two vanishing points, but if you hit the outside of a letter, you just stop. So right here, I have hit the outside of the R. It's a little bit difficult to see, but I'm just going to stop it right there. I'll show you it again on the B. All right, now the last rule is if you would be drawing directly into a letter, meaning inside the letter B here, don't draw a line. So I have this point of intersection. It was good to think about it, but when I go to line my ruler up from that point to the vanishing point, I would draw directly inside the letter B. So I'm not going to draw that one. All right, I'm going to go through and check all my points of intersection and my widest points on the curves and see if they can be drawn to the vanishing point. Your letter that is directly above the vanishing point, you will probably not be able to draw anything from those points of intersection because you're not really going to see the sides of the letter since it is directly above that vanishing point. Okay, I now have all my points marked. Either they ran into a letter, like these two did here, and this one did here. They could go all the way to the vanishing point, or they were points where I would immediately draw inside of the letter, so I didn't draw them. Now that I have those all done, all these new sections that you have created from the sides and kind of the bottoms of the letters, you're going to color in. Whether you choose to color them with crayons or a colored pencil, that is up to you. Or markers. I'm going to choose markers to color mine. I'm going to color this in and I'll check back with you in just a bit. One part that people always wonder about is kind of the part underneath the letter that is directly above the vanishing point. This too comes from the sides of the letter, so you want to color in that section as well as any holes that you might have in the letter, such as the hole there in the R, or the A and the R, and the ones that I had in the B. So so these should be colored as well. Anything that comes from a side, it's like connected to the side of a letter, or if it's connected to the bottom of the letter, should be colored in. When you're all finished coloring those sections that connect to the letter, we want to give a nice light shade to the background of your artwork as well. So anything that is left that has not been colored up until this point, you're going to color with a nice light color, just to give a color to that background area. If you're coloring with colored pencils, you might want to use the technique that I'm about to use here, which is hold the pencil up here towards the top so that you can kind of get a wider range of motion with your hand and color a larger area in a shorter amount of time. Alright, I'm all done coloring my background. I hope you have so much fun creating your one-point perspective artwork. At this point, it is all finished. Just make sure to take a picture and post it on Google Classroom. I can't wait to see what you create.